Hey, welcome to Boring Dad Lectures. I had a crazy thought today. It was a profound understanding, and I just wanted to share this. I'd get this out of my head. But the idea was, I was having a conversation with a lady at work, and she said something about how men are always condescending to women, and she said that men tend to put themselves on pedestals. And at first I thought, yeah, that checks, right? But then the more I thought about it, the more I remembered a scene from the movie The Incredibles, Pixar movies. And there's a scene it's in the first one where Bob, Mr. Incredible, had been captured by Syndrome. And he's locked in those, whatever those things are. And Helen and the girl and the kids are on the airplane, and the airplane gets shot down, and Bob is listening to this whole thing. And he's so angry, and he overpowers those electronic things, and he grabs that lady and squeezes her, he's gonna kill her. And Syndrome's like, go ahead, and it started that whole drama thing, right? But then Helen didn't die. Helen and the kids were okay. And they get to the island, and they get all the way into the prison, and they find Bob, but then they get captured, right? And then Syndrome's got them all locked up in this, these restraints or whatever it is. And they're going to go out, and they're going to fight Syndrome. And Bob, pushes Helen back and says, no, I don't want you coming with me. I have to do this alone. And she's like, why? What's wrong with you? What's your problem? And he says, I'm not strong enough. And Helen says, what is this? Some kind of a workout for you? You got to prove something? What is the deal? And he says, no, I lost you once, and I'm not strong enough to lose you again. And that always just really resonated with me, because I've felt that emotion. And so I spent the afternoon trying to piece together how that fits in with feminism and the patriarchy and blah blah blah. And I came up with something that's, I think, kind of insightful, a little bit profound. I don't really know. I'll let you be the judge of that. But here's the idea. When women say, when feminists say, not just feminists, but women say that men hold them back and they put themselves on pedestals, the emotion that I feel when I hear that, the thing that I see myself doing when I hear them say that, isn't quite what they perceive, I don't think. Because I think it's more accurate to say, from a male's perspective, that what men tend to do is we put women on pedestals. And then, because of instinct or nature or nurture or social conditioning, or I don't know the reason, we become these sort of self-appointed knights in shining armor. And we want to be the ones that are going to rescue and save and provide and do all these things for the woman that we've put up on a pedestal. But in order to do that, sometimes we have to have the woman just take a back seat. And also there's a sense in which we tend to see everything in the world as a threat. And maybe somewhere in our paleo mammalian mind, we see the things that are going on in the world, and we're like, well, that's a lion or a tiger or a bear, and I have to protect this woman that I love, that I've put up on a pedestal. And I think there's something there to that. And it seems like, from my perspective, what a woman may perceive as us holding them back is that same thing in that movie The Incredibles, when Bob pushed Helen back and said no. And from the woman's perspective, that can be well, you're holding me back. Like, you aren't allowing me to be myself and express myself and do the things that I know I'm capable of doing. And that's true. That's actually, yes, that's what's happening. But from the man's perspective, it might be, no, I love you so much, and the world is a really scary and dangerous place, and I don't know how to protect you if you're out there on your own in the world out there. So there's still a shove, but it's perceived in different ways. But now two curious things happen, I think. One is that men oftentimes are emotionally unintelligent, and they don't know that that's what they're doing. They're just like, no, you're a woman. You can't do that. And the thing is like, I think it also happens not just in relationships, but across spectrums, so if a woman walks into a car dealership or an auto mechanic or goes to talk to a lawyer or an accountant or a realtor, or like, I don't know, pick a scenario. And I think that you could almost say that based on the patriarchal nature of the career field in which the man finds himself, the level of pushback against the woman is going to be proportional or something like that. I don't know. But I think there's something to it. And it reminds me of something that Camille Paglia says a lot, of when she was a young feminist. And this thing that I'm talking about is exactly the thing that she was always fighting back against. So in her generation, it was all about, they wanted to be independent, they wanted to take risks, they wanted to go out there and into the world and throw their bodies against the world and just try and push themselves and do whatever it was that they had to do, that they wanted to do, without a man telling them that they needed to be protected and kept safe and kept sacred and blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, we're women. Let's go live our lives. But somehow but I'm not going to get into the whole feminist thing right now, but I think that that's a perspective that's worth thinking about. If you're a man in a relationship with a woman, or in a relationship with another man, but if you're in a relationship like that and you feel yourself doing that, check your emotions, and find out like what's your real motivation behind, restraining your partner. Or if you're a woman and you feel like your man is always like pushing back on you, maybe check those emotions and find out. Or, have that conversation. Because I know for me that I'm aware of that because I've been so cognizant of that story. I never put these two ideas together before today, really. But I'm aware of how I interact with my wife and with my daughters, and wanting to try and fight against that instinct and wanting them to thrive, but then like cringing if I know they're going to be in like a bad situation. And it's like, it's a weird dance. So anyway, this is a thought for you for today. Ponder that. Pipe that in your smoke and stick it. I never get that thing right. Anyway, hope you're doing well. That's deep thought from Boring Dad Lectures world. So love you. Go be amazing. Talk to you soon. Bye.